The Enduring Power of Anne Frank. Message on the anniversary of her death. May 31st, 2014. Traveling is often an unintentional pilgrimage. This was especially true of my trip to Amsterdam several years ago. On the first day, I went through my guidebook and checked off all the tourist sites I planned to visit: the museums, the flower markets, and, oh yes, the Anne Frank house. I had almost forgotten about that. I made a check by the entry, then I underlined it and decided to go there first. As I set off in search of the house, I realized that Anne Frank's diary was one of the most important books of my childhood. I remembered the photograph of Anne on the front cover. It was Anne's favorite because she thought it made her look like a glamorous Hollywood movie star. And I remembered Anne's bright, optimistic vision for the future. The tall, narrow houses of Prizrengracht Canal all looked the same, but the Anne Frank house was easy to spot. A long line of people waited outside. As I took my place at the end, I realized that most of the people in line were women. None of us spoke the same language, but all of us had read Anne Frank's diary, and all of us were on this unintentional pilgrimage together. Finally, the line moved. We entered the building, which, when Anne was alive, housed Otto Frank's business. He sold pestin for jams and jellies, and spices for meats and sausages. We climbed a steep Dutch staircase, stepped through the revolving staircase, and we were in the secret annex, where Anne, her family, and 4 others hid for over 2 years. Traces of the family remained, but the small rooms were bare and without furniture. The Nazis took it all after the family was arrested and shipped it to Germany. On the day the Dutch police discovered their hiding place, the arresting officer grabbed the bag in which Anne kept her diary and school books. He dumped the contents on the floor and filled the bag with money and jewelry. After the family was arrested and taken away, Miep Gijs, the helper who brought them food from the black market, saved the diary, planning to return it to Anne after the war. In the living room of the secret annex, there are some faded marks on the door frame where Anne's father measured her height. She grew several inches despite the moldy beans, preserved kale, and potatoes, which was often all they had to eat. A map on the walls marks the advancing Allies as reported over their secret radio. The space above Anne's desk was still decorated with her favorite postcards: Hollywood movie stars and a young Princess Elizabeth of Great Britain. Through a crack in the window, we could see the western clock and a chestnut tree, Anne's only view of the outside world. My fellow pilgrims and I huddled around a glass case which contains the original diary bound in a red and white plaid cloth. The fragile lock is broken open. Many women are tearful. Everyone is moved. No one speaks. We feel grief over the tragedy of Anne's life, but we are also in awe of the power of a single voice, Anne's voice, which was able to reach countless millions across several generations and in over 100 languages with her vision of hope and compassion. On the wall is a list of Judean transports, which names all the people on the last train out of Holland bound for Auschwitz. Halfway down the list, we find number 309, Frank, Anneliese. Anne and her family were sent to Auschwitz, where her mother and the other occupants of the secret annex were killed. Anne and her sister were later moved to the concentration camp at Bergen-Belsen, where Anne died in March 1945, just a few weeks before the Allies liberated that camp. My fellow pilgrims and I leave the Anne Frank house trying to comprehend the contrast between the unimaginable horrors of Anne's final months and her powerful, unshaken faith in humanity when she wrote, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." Anne Frank died 69 years ago this month.